In this segment, we're going to cover how you create new document library list views. Here we are back on the home page of our sales department site. Now let's go back and visit their general documents library. In the upper left-hand corner of this page, we see the title of our library, General Documents. Below that, we see links that would allow us to create a new document from scratch or to upload a document from an external source. Right below that, in smaller type, is the name of the current view of the library that we're looking at, which in this case is titled the All Documents view. Right now, this is the only view of this document library that's available. Immediately to the right of the name of the view are three little dots. Clicking on these three little dots offers us two options. The first option is to modify this view. The second option is to create a brand new view. Why would you want to do that? Well, the current view of this document library is showing us all of the items and all of the columns of information. So we have the file type, Word documents, PDFs, Excel spreadsheets. We've got the name of the document file. We've got the date it was modified, who modified it, a version number, a region, and a document type. These last two columns are metadata that we previously added. Using these metadata columns, it's very easy for us to visit this library and create a custom view that shows us just the forecasts in this library that have to do with the West Coast region. But what if we didn't want to have to go through that selection process to modify this view, and then have to release those filters to go back and see the full list? What if we wanted several views to choose from without going through that effort? Well, that can be done, and here's how you do it. First, let's release these two filters so that we can see the entire library. Let's create a new view of this information. Let's create a view that just shows us the forecasts in the West Coast region. Let's also improve this view by removing some of the information that we don't need to see. Let's remove the date it was modified, who modified it, and the version number. Here's how you would do that. All we need to do is to go up into the toolbar and click the Library tab. Then click the Create View icon. That delivers us to a page where we can select the type of view. Let's click the Standard View. We're going to give this view a name. Let's call it West Coast Forecasts. We're not going to make this the default view for our library, and we're not going to make it a personal view that only we could see. We're going to make this a public view so that it will be available to other people. Next, we have the columns of information. This is the information that our intranet has about our library, information that's able to be displayed in columns. The information that is currently being shown in our All Items view of our library is this information here, indicated by the checked boxes. Checking boxes here will cause information to show up in our new view, and unchecking boxes will cause information to not show up in our new view. All we need to do to create a view that we just discussed is this. We know that we want the icon that shows what type of file it is. We know that we want the name of the document, so we leave those checked. We don't care when it was modified, so we deselect that. We don't care who modified it, so we deselect that too. We also don't need to see the version number in our new view, but we do want to see the region and the doc type. Let's skip over sorting and filtering for the moment. Let's just go down to the bottom and say OK. We're delivered back to the full page view of our library, but now we're seeing our new view of it. At the top of the library, we see the name of our new view, West Coast Forecasts, and adjacent to that we see the name of the All Documents view that we were looking at previously. And we could switch back to that view just by clicking on it, but we're going to stick with our new view for the moment. We only have a few columns of information now. We have a doc type as an icon. We have the name of the document. We have the region. And we have our doc type, which is whether it's a forecast, an agreement, and so forth. Now let's refine this further so that it's only showing West Coast forecasts. We need to modify this view and take it a little further. So we click the three dots adjacent to the name of our view and select Modify this view. Well, we already have the columns of information that we want. What we want to do now is filter the information. So we go down to the area where we can set the filter for this list view. Right now there are no filters. The filters are set to None and None. Let's set a filter. We're going to set the first filter to Region, and we want the region equal to the West Coast. Since we want both of these filters to apply to our new list view, we set this radio button to AND. Next, we want the doc type to be equal to the word forecasts. Then we just go to the bottom and click OK. And here we have our new view. We have the icon for the type of document. We have the name of the document. We have the region being the West Coast only. And our doc type is forecast. It's that easy to create a custom list view. Now, up at the top of our library, we have two views to choose from. We can click on All Documents and see the All Documents view. And if we want to see our West Coast forecasts again, we can just click on West Coast Forecasts. One last little change. Because we know from the title of the view that these documents are West Coast forecasts, we're going to go back and quickly remove those last two columns. I just click on the three dots and select Modify View. Then I deselect Region and Doc Type. And then click OK. And here's the new improved version of our West Coast Forecasts view. It's that easy to create and modify a library list view. It's quite common to have several views for a library, especially as you become more familiar with adding your own metadata. And that's all there is to creating a custom list view for a library in your intranet.